Today, we're going to do something a little wild. One of my friends recently suggested that we take the Inside the NBA team, put them all together, and see how things go. So I've gathered Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith and put them on the 94-95 Bucks. Now you probably have a few questions, like why those Bucks and why that year? Well, to put it plainly, those Bucks suck, so we're not giving them any kind of unfair advantage. As far as the year, I wanted to get rid of Michael Jordan because his teams tend to dominate. For this save, Jordan is never coming back to basketball, but somebody's going to take his place. See, there's a fourth member of the Inside crew, the one, the only, Elevator Ernie Johnson. Don't worry, he's here too. Now, you might be asking, how did I give Ernie ratings? Well, it's pretty simple. I started with the base of a random dude that looked enough like Ernie on the Bucks, and then used real-life footage to boost his appropriate stats. Longtime Inside the NBA viewers will know that Ernie is a much better three-point shooter than Chuck, much faster than Kenny, and I'm guessing has a higher vertical leap than Shaq based on that elevator dunk. So, I've just taken those respective stats and made Ern better than our 3 stars in those areas. With all that preamble out of the way, let's see if the Inside crew can dominate the NBA like they do the airwaves. Okay, we are here with the Milwaukee Bucks. As you can see, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith are all on the squad, and Ernie Johnson has joined them. I know this doesn't look much like Ernie. You can't actually change how they look too much, but it's a young 6'1", 195-pound Ernie. As you can see, he has better dunking than Shaq. That was important. He has better three-point shooting than Kenny Smith. And if we go over to his speed with ball, faster than Charles, and also his other speed stats are also faster than Charles, and higher vert than Shaq too, I think. Is that correct? Yeah, higher vert than Shaq. So just as we wanted him, he is, not great in other respects. Kind of just I don't remember who this was originally, but we kind of just left it as him. I didn't change his badges. That might be something I look at. I think I'm just going to leave it and just let him build them up as he goes. But this is what the team looks like right now. Holy crap, if we can get there. This is what the team looks like right now. We have this Lee Mayberry guy and obviously Glenn Robinson's here, young Glenn Robinson. They probably aren't going to factor in too much, but this is the team for now. As you can see, they have very little small contracts. This is 1994, so I don't know what contracts look like. I mean, Glenn Robinson's is $10 million, so these might be correct. But yeah, this is what we're going with for now. We'll see if they can win the league in the first season, or if they're going to need some seasons to get back, not get back, but get toward being a great team. They don't really have a lot of depth, so that could be the struggle. But as you can see real quick, if we go to the Bulls, there is no Michael Jordan. He's not even lurking in the shadows, about to come back. Unless that just happens. I'm not sure if they just have that happen in the game or not. But we will sim to the end of the season and see what happens. Okay, good return so far because Shaq has won the league MVP behind a 28, 11, and 2.5 blocks per game. Let's see what else we have here. Jason Kidd, Rookie of the Year for the Mavs. Vin Baker, 6th Man of the Year. I believe that we traded him for Charles. I think that's what happened. I'd have to go back and check. David Robinson wins Defensive Player of the Year. And Allen Houston is your Most Improved. Coach of the Year, Bernard Moon. And Mo Daly is your Executive of the Year. Okay. All right, so Shaq is in the first team All-NBA. Do I have anybody else? Interesting that Shaq is up here and Charles is not, considering Charles is the higher rated player. Maybe there's just more players at that position that are beating him out. Nothing too surprising. I mean, maybe Lionel Simmons being third team All-NBA is a bit surprising, but no Kenny, no Charles, and no Ernie, unfortunately. Kenny Anderson does make it, but not Kenny Smith. Okay, all defensive team. Anybody here for us? No. And yes, Charles. All defensive second team. That a boy. Okay. Glenn Robinson is a all rookie. That's good to see. Also, maybe a sign we should have traded him because he's going to turn out to be really good. But what can you do? Okay, nothing else. All right, so moving on to the playoffs. Milwaukee is the number 1 seed. They're going up against Shaq's Magic. Let's look at the stats. I like to just see the stats the first year because it gives you a good idea of how the team is playing together. All right, let's see. Okay. Shaq leading the team in points. Then Charles. Ernie's getting 10.5 points. He's also starting every game, which is great to see. Looks like Glenn took over for Johnny Newman about a third of the way through the season. Okay, let's see. Anything else really standing out? It's nice to see Ernie having those assist numbers up. Look at those steals. He's leading. No, Shaq is leading the team in steals. Okay, that's a weird one. All right, so yeah, so about what you'd expect. Shaq and Charles shooting no threes. I mean, in fact, this team as far as three-point shooting is like doing none, except for, these three right here are like the bulk of our threes we're putting up. So kind of surprising. I mean, Kenny is a good three-point shooter, correct? I'm not making that up, I don't think. Can we see, I mean, if this is to believe, he shot 54% in 93-94, so that's pretty solid. Now, how many did he shoot per game is the real question. I guess you can't see that here. Let's just see where's his attributes? Here we go. Okay, yeah, so he's 95 overall from three-point land, but he only shooting 0.5 per game. Maybe he should get those up a little bit more. Anyways, we'll go to the playoffs. We'll see if we can make it through the first round. Good signs so far. Sweeping the Magic. Very nice. We need to see where are the Bulls didn't even make the playoffs. Oh my, wow, they've really fallen off. Sorry, Scotty. Okay, can they get past? They did get past the Patrick Ewing-led Knicks. Now, are they going to win in the first round, the first year they've been together? Because that would be quite the feat. We haven't seen that happen very often in these what-if saves. Usually if they win, it takes them a year or two to really gel and bring the team together. Okay, it looks like I'm going to go to San Antonio, which is kind of surprising because this Supersonics team is very good. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, of course, but then Kendall Gill, Schrempf, Perkins, and then a lot of depth along the bench too. But they lose to the San Antonio team that has Dennis Rodman, David Robinson, Sean Elliott, Vinny Del Negro, Chuck Person, Terry Cummings. A good team here too, so not that surprising. Moses Malone's here. Wow, okay. All right, so can the Bucks pull off a first-year win? Now, of course, they do have like a very good team. Shaq and Charles is kind of unfair. And it looks like Charles may be getting his first ring. Oh, boy. Okay, are they going to sweep? They sweep. The Bucks sweep behind a monster series from Shaquille O'Neal. 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. Not quite up there in his steal numbers he has had recently, but still a dominant performance from Shaq. A dominant performance from the whole team, really. Can we look at the box score of Game 7? Yeah, Shaq and Charles doing it all. Glenn Robinson is the glue that's putting this team together at this point, it seems like. Look at this. Ernie Johnson, perfect from three-point land. Also Shaq, 10 for 15 from the free throw line. They cannot hack a Shaq in this because apparently he can make his shots. Okay, so far, so good. They're successful. Can we turn this into a dynasty is now the question. Just like they have turned themselves into a dynasty on TNT. I will see what they change to next year, and I'll see you when we're ready. Okay, so the Bucks have made an unfortunate move because, as you can see, if we scroll down, unless he's hurt, which I don't think he is yet, Ernie has left the team. Ernie has left the defending champions. Apparently, Mayberry and Glenn Robinson, he was started every game last year, but he decided, I'm out of here, baby. So we got to find out where Ernie went. He left the Inside the NBA team after one season. I may just send him back. I may trade some team, Mayberry, just to make sure he's on the team. But we'll see where he goes, and then I'll let you know my final decision here in a second. Okay, so we found Ernie. Not actually that hard to find him. He's over here in LA with Vlade Divac and a bunch of other guys. I was thinking, maybe we'll let him stay and see what happens. But I feel bad about that. We got to put the guys back together. So I'm going to trade Ernie back to the Bucks, use my privileges as the GM of this league, and make Ernie stick with the boys for at least another season. So I will see you when we have these guys back in their right place. Okay, I've kept it fair. I didn't want to, mess up too much. So we're going to trade Ernie for Lee Mayberry. That's going to hurt the team a little bit, but they still have Glenn Robinson, so it should be okay. So we're going to make this trade, and then I'll see you at the end of the regular season. He is back at it again. Shaq Daddy, 29 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals just like last year, and 2.7 blocks per game. Quite the season for Shaq. Also 65% from from the field and 63% from the line, which is solid for him. Let's see what else we got here. KG, Rookie of the Year out in LA. The Clippers, of course. Danielle Marshall wins Sixth Man of the Year for the Wolves. It's always weird to see guys like Danielle Marshall, who I know from like playing with LeBron in early Cleveland, like to see him playing back in the day. It's always surprising how long he had been in the league. Shaquille O'Neal, Defensive Player of the Year, not too surprising considering those 2.7 blocks per game. David Wesley for the Grizzlies. I believe this is their first year as a franchise, I believe, but he gets Most Improved. Sidney Farmer and Mo Daly again. So this must be, again, who are we controlling? Not controlling. We were playing with the Bucks. Must have the best record. Penny picks up All NBA First Team. Vin Baker, who is the person that we traded Charles for, is also on the first team. And Charles is not here, but Shaq is here, of course, because he did win the MVP. Nothing. And there's Charles, third team, All NBA. Very good for him. Dino Raja as well. Defensive team, Vin Baker also making the defensive team. So arguably you could say maybe Vin Baker. I mean, I wouldn't say Vin Baker's better than Charles, right? But because probably the thing is that Phoenix isn't as good. So Vin Baker's getting to get a lot more usage minutes than Sir Charles will be doing, because he has Shaq on his team, who's just, I mean, this is like prime Shaq. Look, I know the picture is older, fatter Shaq, but this is 24-year-old Shaq, and he is dominating as you would expect. Okay, no Charles on the second team this year. Anybody on these rookie teams? Probably not. There's Big Country out in Seattle. That a boy. Okay, let's see. So yes, so they are the number 1 seed. They're going to go to Detroit, who have Joe Dumars. They have Terry Mills. Allen Houston's here. Okay. But nobody to be too afraid of. Should be winnable. Look at Chicago, how far they've fallen without Jordan. So sad to see. They do have George Murison, so good for them, I guess. Wow. Okay. What a squad. All right. Let's see how well we can do in this first round. We sweep again. Detroit is no match for us. Let's see. And Chicago also is through, so let's see if we can take Chicago down. Sweep Chicago. Okay, this Charlotte team. We just did a save oh my God, we did a save recently where, wow, this is a really good team, where we brought in the all-time Charlotte team, and they did not win very much. But this team is very good. They've made the right moves, I do have to say. Look, they have Michael Adams, Hershey Hawkins, Larry Johnson, Kenny Gaddison, Alonzo Mourning's still here, Del Curry is here, Muggsy's still here. I believe that's Virginia, the coach of the UVA Cavaliers, Tony Bennett is here. Anybody else? Any other big names? No. I mean, Joe Wolf, maybe you could say. This is the thing. Okay. 2K, if you're listening, we really got to work on the tattoos for creative players in these older saves, because no one in 1993 had a tattoo that looked like that. So we need to make sure that we fix that kind of stuff. San Antonio also having a chance to make it back to the finals again after their performance last year. Granted, they did lose in 4. We swept them, but still. Are we going to sweep the Hornets? Oh boy, it looks like we might. No, okay, the Hornets have made it respectable. But the Mavs sweep over here, so 2 very good teams. Let's look at these maps. First, we'll look at us. All right, Kenny Smith, of course, Ernie Johnson. Interesting. Wait. Oh, I accidentally traded. Did I trade Glenn Robinson for Ernie? Oh, no, I made a mistake. Okay, so we don't have Glenn Robinson. Now we have Lee Mayberry. I made the mistake. I thought I was trading Lee Mayberry. I must have changed something and not noticed it. Okay, that's fine. But we do have Shaq and we do have Charles. And I want to see who the Bucks have. Sorry, that threw me off. Okay, so we have Jason Kidd, rising Jason Kidd. We have Jim Jackson, Jamal Mashburn. This was a fun Dallas team. I remember Mashburn and Kidd days. Tom, Gugliotti. That's probably wrong. Luke Longley. Okay. Luscious Harris. Anyone else? Danny Ainge, still in the league, still going. All right, and Dickie Simpkins. Okay. Can we win a back-to-back championships? This would be a good start to a dynasty. We're going to do 5 years. If we win the championship all 5 years, we sweep again behind another great series from Shaq, averaging 30, almost 37 points per game and 15 rebounds, nearly 2 steals and 3 blocks as well. Absolutely incredible series from Shaquille O'Neal. Can we look? I like to look at this last game because I want to see how. So Charles is doing well, but it's weird that even though he is higher rated, he is just getting outclassed by Shaq in most. I mean, look at how many free throws Shaq took. 28 free throws. Jeez Louise, Ernie not shooting well in this game, but that doesn't mean that's how it has always been. Can I? Yeah, we want to. I just want to see how. Mostly what I'm looking for is how did Charles do this series? So, oh my lord, 43 and 15. What a game one from Shaq. Okay, 40 and 16. Yeah, so Charles, I wouldn't say it's Charles disappearing, right? I would say Charles having some good games, but just Shaq cannot be stopped. I guess maybe it's because Luke Longley is the big man here, and he probably is not putting up much of a fight against Shaq, so maybe that's why they're playing the matchups. But Charles definitely playing second fiddle, even though he's the higher rated player so far in this save. We will see if they make any changes this offseason. It's been 2 years, so I'll probably let them go if they want to break up. I did force, obviously, Ernie back into the fold, but if it happens this year, someone leaves, I'm just going to let it happen and see what happens when the inside the NBA team breaks up, if they decide to do so. So I'll see you at the beginning of the next season. Well, I said what I said, and now Sir Charles has left the building. We don't know where he went yet, but Shaq, Kenny, Ernie are still here. Sir Charles, the highest rated player, has gotten jealous of all the MVP awards and finals MVP awards Shaq has won the last 2 years, and he has left to go join potentially greener pastures. We'll find out soon. I will look around and see if I could find out where Shaq is, or where Charles is, excuse me. Well. Charles has joined the announce desk with Reggie Miller out in Toronto. That facial scan looks just like Reggie Miller, I have to say. Now, this is something that happened in saves before. As you can see here, look at this. That's young Allen Iverson. He just got drafted, but Patrick Ewing comes to Vancouver, right? These expansion teams, there's something about them. They just have money, apparently. Somehow they're luring in these big, talented players. This keeps happening. I do not understand why. I've kind of tried to look around and see if I can figure it out and have not been able to discover the reasoning. But needless to say, something in the code makes the star players want to come play for a bunch of money out in these expansion teams. So Charles Barkley has signed up with Reggie Miller to try to lead these Toronto Raptors to the championship. Now, if you'll remember, a few times out ago, we had Charles join the Lakers, and he eventually, I believe, went and joined the Raptors. No, I believe that time he joined the Vancouver Grizzlies, and then they did not win. So will he reverse the curse in this save? He has 3 years to do it. It'll also be interesting to see if Shaq or Kenny, when their contracts are... Actually, no, their contracts are not going to get up. They're going to be fine. Maybe Ernie might leave and go join one of those expansion teams, but we'll see if anybody else joins them. That does seem to be the pattern in NBA 2K23, is when these expansion teams pop up, you start to see players just go join them for no reason. Also, I think it's wild to see that Charles is the best player in the league right now. Of course, I know Jordan, but then it feels like some of these guys that didn't fall off in real life this early are falling off quicker. I'm trying to remember. I guess this would have been about the time Olajuwon was coming down, but he's obviously fallen off a cliff to 88 compared to Charles Barkley. They're the same age, so that's kind of surprising. But either way, I'm going to send him to the end of the season, see how the Bucks do, see how the Raptors do, see which coverage desk is better in this version of NBA 2K23. So I'll see you then. That is 3 in a row. No Michael Jordan means Shaquille O'Neal is dominating these middle of the year NBA seasons. 34 points, 12 rebounds, more than 3 blocks a game. I've got to assume he's going to be your defensive player of the year as well. Shaq having yet another dominant season. This time no Charles to slow him down, so he almost gets to 34 points, which incidentally was his number in real life, at least when he was playing with the Lakers, I believe. I could be wrong. I think 32 with the Magic, 34 with the Lakers. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about that. Steve Nash, Rookie of the Year out in Washington. P.J. Brown, Sixth Man of the Year in Toronto. Alonzo Mourning. Okay, that's a surprise. Alonzo Mourning gets your Defensive Player of the Year. Not Shaq. Okay. Greg Minor, Most Improved. Wes Unseld. Whatever. Wes. How do you say that? How do I say that name? I know he played for the Bullets. He's like a small, big man. I don't know. I'm completely lost. I don't know why. And Eli Perkinson. Wes Unseld. I think that's right. Okay. Anyways, on to these teams. Let's see. Shaq, of course. All-NBA first team. Penny still up there too. Kevin Garnett, of course, always moves up these very quickly. Vin Baker, third team. Anyone else? No. Reggie, actually. I saw Reggie before we skip away. Reggie, second team. Calbert Chaney? That's not a name I mean, that's like a name I recognize it, but I don't remember him. So he could be real. He could be fake. Maybe making up that I recognize him, but whatever. Nothing here to note. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I guess because Alonzo won Defensive Player of the Year, but Shaq getting second team Defensive Player of the Year. Any rookies? Did I skip? No. Okay. There's Starberries there. Ray Allen. Kobe's in the league, playing for Minnesota. Someone named Richie Henry. I don't think he's real. Allen Iverson. Already up to an 84. What's Kobe up to? Oh, he's also an 84. Okay. Marcus Camby, too, for the Toronto Raptors. Up there quick. Antoine Walker. I know that's not how you say that. Okay. All right. Let's get to the playoffs and see. Okay. So Milwaukee's a 4 seed this year. So losing Charles has hurt them. So that means Toronto has Charles, right? So, okay. So Charles is the number 1 seed. Vancouver, as you'll note, is the number 8 seed over here, which is very surprising given how good this team is. Very, very surprising. Maybe they have a lack of size, potentially. I'm not sure. Okay. But here's what we want to look at is the Chicago Bulls team. Oh, here's the problem, right? They're just very, very bottom and top heavy. They have, good small players, really good big player, and then not very good here in the middle. Because like Lee Mayberry, a good player, right? But he's also 6'1". So, Doc Rivers is here. But he's, Lee Mayberry's only 6'1", or 6'3" maybe. So losing Glenn Robinson and Charles really, really hurts them pretty badly. Even though we could see them make it through. You never know. But this is where it's going to get interesting, are Reggie and Charles, 2 players who never won a trophy, or will they be able to win a trophy with the Raptors? They have Scott Skiles on the team too, which I didn't notice earlier. This team should dominate, if I'm being completely honest. Like they should be really good. Michael Finley, good Lord, Bruce Bowen. All right, let's send to the first round. And we're going to get a matchup between Charles and his old team. Okay, this is perfect. We're going to slow roll this. Toronto takes the first game. It's tied it back up. Shaq says no. Can we look at the box score for that? How do I box score? Here we go. Okay. I just want to see what Shaq did. Shaq said, no, thank you, Charles. I'm going to go 39-9. Jeez Louise. All right. Yeah, this is a game we definitely want to look at these games because, Shaq is out here just dominating. Ernie, come on, pick it up, my man. 11 points. Let's go, buddy. Shaq saying, it's my game. He's taking over. Oh, my God. Look at this stat line from Charles, 16-16. All right. Next game. Tied back up. As you can see, Toronto swept. Good for them. Shaq's got 37-14. Oh, my gosh. These guys are just fighting. These battles, man. So this will be a fun series to watch in real life. I got to tell you, Charles having a great game. P.J. Brown actually coming out and getting 16 boards. Shaq has 41 in the loss. Okay, are the Raptors going to wrap this one up? They are not. It's going to a game 7. All right, let's look at this box score. Oh, my gosh. Look, this Reggie Miller actually leading the team in points. Just dominating. This, okay, Lee Mayberry actually playing very, very well this series, I have to say. Excuse me. Wait. Hold on. Sorry. 1 second. Why is Ernie only 7 points earned? Come on, my man. He's struggling. All right. Last game. Toronto wins. Toronto wins the series. Oh, big game from Charles. 35 points, 9 rebounds. How did Shaq do in the loss? 24 points. Oh, my goodness. Shaq had a rough game. Ernie and Kenny not helping at all. They actually lost by, what is that? That's 40 points. They lost by 40 points in Game 7. Good God. Okay. Can Charles make it to the finals again? Oh, my God. He has that monster series, and he doesn't even make the finals. It's the Lakers versus the Hornets, both the 2 seeds. This would have been the team, I will say, this team right here would have been the team Ernie was on if I'd let him leave. So maybe it's my fault, okay? But neither team is in the finals. Neither team can win. So it's definitely, the dynasty's over. Well, I shouldn't say over. They could come back next year, but the dynasty's over for now. Let's see who wins these playoffs. It's going to be the Hornets, something they cannot do with their all-time team, but in this save, Larry Johnson leads them with 23 points, 10 rebounds to an NBA championship. All right, we will assess and see where the Bucks and the Raptors go after this. Obviously, they both need to go back to the drawing board a little bit. You do have to think, though, that Toronto would have won had they been able to beat the Hornets. But this Hornets team is very good. It's quite the buzzsaw, even as good as the Raptors are. Like the Raptors probably on paper are better, but it's very close. It's very close. Also, Marcus Camby needs to grow a little bit. That should help a lot, too. All right, let's go and see what happens in the next year. This is the 4th season. We might see Shaq. No, actually, Shaq and Kenny can't leave. We might see Ernie leave and break this team up even more. It'd be great if Ernie went and joined Charles, but, we can only hope. So I'll see you then. All right, it is official. Ernie Johnson has left Milwaukee. Kenny and Shaq are both still here. They're both should be locked up through the end of this save because we only have 2 years left, and Shaq's deal runs through 2 years. Kenny has 4 more. We will look around and see where Ernie ended up and also look at the Raptors. Also just show you this team, my 76ers that I'm controlling. And I'm not actually doing anything, but the team that I'm in charge of technically. Ray Allen and Tim Duncan back-to-back years, so that's pretty solid. They're building a nice team out here. But yeah, let's go find Ernie. Well, Ernie did not join Toronto, unfortunately. Instead, he joined Vancouver. Ernie's here. Also, John Stockton is here. What is this team even doing? They have 2 35-year-olds, but they also have Allen Iverson. They have Ernie. They have George Murison. It's just like a who's who, a real murderer's row over here. Nobody in the 90s, though, now that Patrick Ewing has gone down a touch, but Allen Iverson should be there very soon. We can look at the Toronto Raptors here, too. Both of these guys, Reggie and Charles, are down a point. They have added Larry Johnson. I don't know if they had Kenny Anderson last year either, but this team also looking very, very good. I would say this is probably your front runner, I guess. Yeah, this has got to be your front runner at this point. Also, point out here that Charles is still tied with with the best players in the league, which is just wild to me that he is so much older than these guys, but still so good. But yeah, we're going to sim to the end of the season, and we'll see what happens. Well, Shaq's reign at the top is over. Reggie Miller comes and wins MVP for the Raptors. Tim Duncan is your Rookie of the Year for the Sixers. Joe Smith, Sixth Man of the Year. Alonzo Mourning, Defensive Player of the Year again. Antonio McDyess is your Most Improved for the Spurs. And then we have, 75-7 from I believe that's going to be the Raptors team. Okay, Shaq still first team All-NBA. Again, Vin Baker showing himself to be maybe a better player, at least in terms of production, than Charles so far this save. Anything else? Yeah, nothing else here. Any defensive stuff? No. And then rookies, we can look through them, but it doesn't matter too much for our purposes. So let's see in these playoffs. Okay, Toronto is the 1 seed again. Vancouver is the 5 seed. We have 3 teams to pay attention to now, so it makes it a little more difficult. And then Milwaukee is a 6th seed. And Philadelphia is a 5 seed. So that is interesting. Okay, let's see how these go. Okay, Philly's eliminated immediately. Milwaukee also gets eliminated immediately by this New York team, which is not terrible. Pretty solid. You would like to see Shaq be able to take a team through the playoffs without another player, but it doesn't happen. Okay, and then Vancouver actually did lose first round to the Spurs. So there you have it. That's too bad. I mean, behind, this is a good team. Pretty solid, not too bad. But yeah, okay. Man, wow. Ernie, come on. You got to lead your team to victory a little better than that. All right, let's see if Charlotte can make it to the second round. Out of the second round, they do. Oh, we're not Charlotte. Sorry. Toronto is who we care about. Okay, can Toronto beat Charlotte? Remember last year, Charlotte did upset them and then won the championship 2-1. Toronto. So Toronto's up 3-1. Toronto does go through. Now, let's see. We got to get through this game. All right, they're playing the Mavericks. How do the Mavericks look? So Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn. This should be a winnable series for them, all things considered. I mean, they just are better, right? They just are. Like, there's no denying that fact. Okay, let's see. Can Charles win another championship? This would be his third in 4 years. Across 2 different teams, and it looks like he's going to do it. Oh, not a sweep. Okay. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Game 6. Oh, no. It's Game 7. All right. Okay. Say a prayer for Mr. Chuck. He loses. Oh, my God. Charles cannot win without Shaq. Jason Kidd coming through. 29 points. Almost 10 assists. Almost 2 steals per game. Can we look at the box score of this final? Oh my God. Chuck, 3-11 in the game they had to have. 3-11 from the field. I mean, you cannot blame Reggie Miller. Great series from him. Great game from him. Chuck really letting the team down. He's almost perfect from the free throw line too. Like this is an all-time game from Reggie Miller, to be honest with you. Like an incredible performance from him, but it's just not enough without his backup man helping him out. And really, who should be the better player? Can we look at Game 6? They had 4 games to close this out. Let's see how Charles performed games 4 through 7. Okay. All right, Charles, 24 points in Game 4, so not a bad game for him. They just got outplayed. Jason Kidd, a triple-double, 43 points. I mean, that's tough to win. They lost by 2. So just a great game from Jason Kidd to win that one. Game 4, how did he do? Charles playing okay. 22 points, 9 rebounds. They lose by, 8? A great game from, both these guys. Another triple-double from Jason Kidd and a great game from Jamal Mashburn. Jamal Mashburn took 31 shots in this game, though. So, all right, Game 6. Game 6, Barkley had 8 points, 3 of 14. So really and truly, here at the end, the last 2 games, Chuck just completely crapped the bed. Terrible games for him back-to-back. He just cannot win it without Shaq on his side. So we have one more season to see if Charles can win one without Shaq or if Shaq can win without Charles. And, Kenny's there too. See if maybe Ernie can win one with Vancouver. But we will see what these teams look like at the start of the season here in a second. Okay, Kenny and Shaq are still together with Lee Mayberry, but they don't add anybody important, which is probably too bad. Tim Thomas is here, young Tim Thomas. He's great in, my team, but I don't know how good he's going to be here. So we'll go see how Toronto and Vancouver, actually, we can go there quick. Vancouver, Ernie Johnson, Allen Iverson's making his ascension. They went and got Antonio McDyess from the Spurs. Ernie's still here, probably coming off the bench, but still, a very, very good team. And Charles is still here. He's faltering, but they added, Jesus, holy moly, they added David Robinson. How are these teams get so much money? How does this happen? I don't understand how this works, why this happens the way it does. All right, so the odds on, look, they're trusting 3 guys that are 33 years or older. So maybe you could argue that's a little too much money in these old legs. But, who knows? It could happen. Man, what the heck? Okay. All right. So we're going to see how this season goes. John Stockton's still here. 36 years old. My God. Okay. We're going to see how this season goes. I will see you at the end of it. And hopefully we can get a championship for one of our 3 teams we're rooting for. Shaq is back. He is the MVP once again. I believe that makes 4 of 5 for the Big Diesel. 31 points, 12 rebounds, almost 3 blocks. Antoine Jameson is your rookie out in Boston. Interesting spot for him to land. Glenn Robinson, who used to be playing. I think that's who we traded, right? That's who we traded Ernie for back in the day on accident. Meant to be Mayberry, but we did Glenn. But he is the 6th man of the year for the Lakers. Alonzo Mourning, defensive player of the year again. Michael Finley gets most improved. I believe that's probably because he left one of those super teams and joined the Knicks. So he just has more usage. And the usual suspects here. 79-3. Hold on a second. What? Okay, Shaq gets first team again. Not surprising considering he is the MVP. Anybody else worth noting from Toronto? Reggie Miller gets that. Okay, any other players from either of the teams we're rooting for? Shaq, all defensive second team. Vince Carter's a net a little early. That's surprising. Dirk goes to Utah. Paul Pierce. I love to see where these guys end up when it just becomes random. Okay, so let's see. All right, so Toronto has to be. They have to be that number 1 seed, right? I just want to see. Jeez Louise. They lost 3 games the whole year. They have 79-3. Good God almighty. Okay, and Milwaukee's a 4 seed, so they would play each other if Milwaukee can make it out of the first round. And Vancouver, of course, is the other 1 seed. All right, sim through this first round. They are going to play each other, so Shaq will be going up against this buzzsaw of a team. If Shaq can win this, he's been better than Charles every step of the way. But if he wins this, he might go down as the best player of all time. All right, we'll sim through this slow. Toronto gets game 1. Tied back up. Toronto game 2. 3. Toronto's through. Shaq cannot pull it off, unfortunately. I was really hoping for it. Okay. Okay, so we've gone chalk all the way through. What's this Lakers team? Okay, Rasheed Wallace, Glenn Robinson, Peja Stojakovic, Nick Van Exel. So very solid little Laker team here. Jermaine O'Neal, too, which is kind of surprising. I did not think they were going to be that great, but they are going to go up against Vancouver. And Charlotte, who keeps being a nuisance in this save, is going up against Toronto. Hopefully Toronto doesn't fall here. I would love to see it be Vancouver versus Toronto, so we're guaranteed a champion from one of our teams. But we'll see if the Lakers will let it happen. Okay, so Toronto's through. Can Vancouver make it as well? They're up 3-2. We're in game 6. Come on, baby. Okay, here it is. Can Ernie, Ernie Johnson lead? He's not really leading. Can Ernie Elevator Johnson lead his Vancouver Grizzlies to a victory over Charles Barkley? They both left the Inside the NBA crew. They left these guys behind. Kenny and Shaq are just over here hanging out, struggling, and wishing that they had left just like Ernie and Chuck did. Can Ernie best Chuck once again, just like he did in those races back in the day? We'll see. Simulate game 1. The Grizzlies pick up game 1. Can we just check? Behind Ernie's incredible game. Look at this. Perfect from 3, perfect from free throws. 15.7 assists. What a game from Ernie. What a game. All right. Up next, game 2. Goes to the Raptors. Ernie falls off a little bit. 4 of 14. So rough game for Ernie. But then here's Sir Charles has a triple-double. A triple-double from Charles Barkley. Look at this point distribution. It's tough to stop a team when you have 2, 4, 6 guys scoring 17 or more points. All right, on to game 3. Another great game from Ernie. I know it before I even look. Look at this. Ernie, 14 points, 6 of 11. Where Ernie goes, the Grizzlies go. In fact, he's scoring more points than Allen Iverson. Charles, a respectable game, but not good enough. Okay, game 4 is going to go to Ernie again. Look at this. Great game from Ernie. We already know it. Look at this. 11 points, 5 for 7. Just incredible out here. 8 assists. How about Charles? Charles, only more points than Ernie, but only 12 points. Rough one for Sir Charles. Okay. Can Ernie wrap it up here? No. Charles says no. Charles says, I'm going to go let Reggie Miller score 47 points. He let him do that. He said, you go off, Reggie. Reggie, 24 of 24 from the free throw line. a big, oh my gosh, Ernie, 17 points, second on the team in points per game, or in points this game. But Reggie, 24 free throws. What a performance from Mr. Miller. Okay, game 6. Can Ernie wrap this up? He does. Now we're going to click this button and continue, and we better see Ernie Johnson as the finals MVP. That's right, it's Ernie Johnson, your finals MVP. What a game. Let's look at this box score. Ernie, 13 points. Perfect from the field. He's letting Allen Iverson have all the glory right now, but everyone knows this is Ernie's team. Look, folks, all I can tell you is that the Inside the NBA team should have stayed together because they very easily won the first 2 championships. And then when Chuck left, it was a struggle until Ernie was able to assemble his new super team. Look at this. Can you imagine this booth? Look at this booth. If you had, we're gonna not have John Stockton in the booth. We don't care about him. But if we had Allen Iverson, we had Patrick Ewing. Who else? Of course, Ernie, right? And then Sean Bradley. I gotta say, scratch Sean Bradley, add George Murison. That is your bench, or that is your team. Ooh, and Ty Lue. Ty Lue also going to join. He's going to be our 5th man. He's going to be the T-shirt man or whatever Chuck always talks to. Imagine this team, right? That would be the team in the booth instead of the current Inside the NBA. I think we can say with a lot of certainty that this is the better booth. This is what Ernie should be pushing for. I'm just kidding. The Inside the NBA booth is great. It was just a fun little save. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was fun. If nothing else, it was fun to create Ernie Johnson in the game and see him not dominate the league, but, win 3 championships in 5 years. That's tough to do. And he did it, he was not just an Adam Morrison-like victory cigar. He's been an integral part of all 3 championship teams. So we're going to sign off here. I will see you all next time, probably with a more serious save, but I thought this one was fun, a good suggestion from one of my friends and viewers. So next time we'll be a little bit more serious, but I'll see you then. Goodbye.